Hi everyone, I'd first of all like to apologise that we didn't have a meeting last term. We were not allowed to organise a meeting as it was decided by our SLC that the focus last term should be to run workshops and training for senior leaders around the curriculum for Wales. Also, I think this decision was based on the COVID situation, where I know several schools finished off the term really struggling capacity-wise with so many absences, and we're completely exhausted, I know. Therefore, putting additional meetings on the calendar wouldn't have been fair. Now that the Curriculum for Wales networks have been established, which I'll explain about in a minute, we are allowed to organise meetings if we feel it's necessary. So when the need is there, we will organise something. Well, now let me just explain about the Curriculum for Wales networks. There is a regional network with 8 subgroups. So you can see it's the 6 AOLEs, and we've got 2 additional ones on curriculum design and assessment. These regional subgroups consist of an appointed secondary school lead and a primary school lead from each local authority. Therefore, for each subgroup, there are 12 members plus 2 GWE advisors. Now, this regional group have fixed meetings as a whole team, literally everyone together, so we're talking about approximately 100 people, where an overarching theme is discussed, information shared, and there's some inputs from Professor Graham Donaldson, and an opportunity in a breakout room according to the subgroups, where all the maths leads get an opportunity to further discuss and share thoughts and ideas around maths specific stuff under the given theme. These are the dates of the regional meetings and the overarching themes for each meeting. Now, what sits under the regional network is the local network. Following each regional meeting, the local authority leads go about organising a local meeting for their area of learning. So there are 6 local networks for maths and numeracy. This is an opportunity for the leads to cascade any key messages from the regional network, so we get some level of consistency across the region, but it's also an opportunity for the local group to steer into the direction they feel it's needed. These networks are run by schools, not by GWE. GWE advisors are just there as support and to help facilitate any meetings. If you're not sure about the local networks, I can say that the initial conversations the regional group have had so far have been around sharing practices, understanding the proficiencies, ideas around planning the continuum from progression step 1 to 5, and the idea to prioritise discussions around pedagogy. In fact, as the year goes by, I can imagine talking pedagogy will become the main focus. Just for your information, here are the names of the secondary school leads for each local network. The work for these networks is financed by GWE, and there are a couple of local groups who have not reached their capacity yet. So if you are interested or have a member of staff interested, please get in touch with me. You would need your head teacher's permission, as obviously it would involve some cover, and if your school already has members in the other AOLE local networks, it might not be possible for you to join. I can completely understand that head teachers would have to consider carefully the cover implications. If you're not a part of the local networks, then please don't worry. We will ensure everyone gets an update on their progress, and when there are any examples of work to share, we will ensure you get access to it. You're also welcome to get in touch with me anytime if you have any inquiries. As these curriculum networks are running now and do involve a lot of you, we need to ensure that any additional meetings don't clash or take up more of your time unless absolutely necessary. Therefore, when it's just information that needs to be shared, I'm thinking that maybe something like creating a video like this one would be easier, as you can watch it at any time rather than have to attend a meeting on a fixed date. I know it's a balance though, so there will be a chance for a meeting for you to be able to catch up with each other at some point. The plan is to have a Numeracy Coordinators meeting next half term. Therefore, if you could share the date and time with whoever needs it, I would appreciate it. There is a link on this slide to register. Then a Heads and Maths meeting is going to be the following half term. The dates and time will be confirmed next half term. If there's any key information to share next half term, I'll send you a video update. Also, if you have anything you feel should be on the agenda for Heads of Maths meeting, then please let me know. We do want to organise online workshops this year, focusing on teaching and learning, and any workshops organised will be recorded and shared with you afterwards. I can share the date and time of the first workshop with you. We thought having a refresher session on the Maths and Numeracy A-Level would be beneficial to begin with. I realise some of you might have gone past this by now, but I'm also aware that familiarising your departments with the Maths and Numeracy A-Level wouldn't have been a priority last year. If this is the case, then this workshop might be a good starting point. Dr Gareth Evans, the Head of Maths at Ysgol Creighton, will be running this workshop. He was a curriculum pioneer for Maths and Numeracy and a part of the team who wrote the Maths and Numeracy A-Level framework. Therefore, his insight could be valuable. He's going to run a session through the medium of Welsh on the 15th of November, then repeat this session through the medium of English on the 21st of November. Links to register are on the screen. We would really appreciate if you could advertise this workshop with your departments. It will also appear in the GWE bulletin over the next couple of weeks. We do have more workshops in the pipeline. Chris Henry, the Head of Maths from Conisky High School, is collaborating with Dr Sally Bamber from Chester University on planning a series of 3 online workshops. The first one is likely to run around the end of next half term. Now, the intention is to share a brief video with you next half term with some updates, and details about this workshop from Chris and Sally will be shared with you then. If you have any suggestions for future workshops that would be beneficial, please get in touch. In fact, if anybody fancies running a workshop, please get in touch with your proposal. Okay, I've mentioned the GWE bulletin. Now, we will always let you know about any maths specific workshops or meetings, but there might be other stuff that would interest you or members of your department that's in the GWE bulletin. Therefore, if you haven't already done, it could be useful for you to register to get the GWE bulletin. If you just go to the GWE homepage and then click the bulletin, all old bulletins are kept here. But if you just scroll down, you can register here to automatically receive the bulletin via your email. Looking at the most recent bulletin as an example, you can see different training opportunities. If you have an NQT in your department, for example, there are quite a few sessions directed at them this term. The bulletin includes information and guidance from the Welsh Government. For example, in case you're not aware, the Professional Teaching Awards Cymru is now open for nominees if you have anybody you would like to nominate. Then there are other opportunities shared that could be of interest. It's worth having a look at the bulletin anyway and sharing it with your department. Okay, some messages from WJC. I'm sure you're all completely aware by now of the GCSE content for this year. The GCSE adaptations are exactly the same as last year. However, the A-level content is not the same as last year. Further content has been removed. Further details are on their website. WJC have actually had a lot of inquiries around A-level and AS. I won't read through them now, but there is a link on this slide to the frequently asked questions with WJC's responses. Worth reading to avoid any confusion with entries. In case you're not aware, there is an opportunity to sit the additional maths examination in January this time. It's not instead of the summer's examination, it's just an extra offer. Also, like last year, there are no changes to the additional maths syllabus. Now, WJC have created a bank of blended learning resources for maths. I don't know if anybody has used what's there yet, but it does actually look really useful. WJC have organised a webinar for teaching A-level aimed at NQTs and non-specialist teachers. Also, the exam feedback for the autumn 2021 series will be in March. Now, the provisional exam timetable for the summer exam series is out now. I know it seems far away at the moment, but I just wanted to highlight some key changes. WJC have to ensure there is a 10-day gap between exams for any qualification. As maths and numeracy are different qualifications, there doesn't need to be a 10-day gap between maths and numeracy, only between Unit 1 and Unit 2 within the same qualification, if that makes sense. Looking at the GCSE exam dates, notice that Unit 1 in both qualifications come before the Unit 2s, which is completely different to what we're used to. I'm wondering if it might actually work out better like this, preparing for the non-calculator work first for both Unit 1s, then the gap before the Unit 2s. I know WJC will be asking us for feedback after the exams to see if schools would actually prefer this timetabling for future exam series. Qualifications Wales published their decisions last week with regards to the proposals set last year for the new GCSE qualifications. Worth reading their decisions and rationale for the maths qualification, which is on page 70 of the document. The main headlines though is that they're going ahead with the 3 proposals for maths. So maths and numeracy will be combined to one qualification. There will be a new small online qualification to assess a learner's numerical proficiency. And there will be a Made for Wales additional maths qualification. I know the majority of you will either have mine or Delith's email addresses. If you're new though, then you might not have our details. Actually, if this video came to you from your head teacher rather than directly from me, it means I haven't got your email address. So if that's the case, would you mind just emailing me to let me know, and I can add you to our mailing list then. Now what's coming up next in this video is a presentation from Dominic Oakes from the Further Maths Support Programme Wales. Even if you haven't got sixth form in your school, it would still be worth a listen, as the work they support, as the work they do supports more than just A level. The additional maths course, for example, or your more able and talented students in Key Stage 3 and 4. Well, I'll let him explain anyway. Thank you for listening to me talking. That's me finished, but please get in touch with Delith or myself if you need support with anything. Thank you.
FMSPW resources and courses. Before we have a look at that, just to mention that Further Maths is on the rise in Wales. We overtook England in 2020 and we've maintained that in 2021 for entries. And since 2020, A-level maths numbers have increased by 10.6% and Further Maths by 12.4%. And the number of girls awarded in A-level maths has increased by 9% and for Further Maths by 18%. Also, just to recognise the importance of Further Maths, quote here from Daniel Narain from Benglice Comprehensive. Studying Further Maths led to an improvement in my math skills as well as helped developing analytical and problem-solving skills. I would encourage others to study Further Maths, especially if they're considering studying science or maths to a higher level. As well as having important content, it teaches you valuable problem-solving skills vital for the sciences and in general. Now, we have a lot of resources and courses for you, and this is a list of them, and we'll have a quick look at each as we go through. You may be interested in the views and downloads we've had over the COVID period. The broken down figures are there in the table. You can pause and have a look if you're interested. But the headline figures are that between the start of our YouTube channel and the other day, we'd had almost 18,000 YouTube views. And from the start of lockdown to the other day, we'd had almost 28,000 accesses of our Dropbox, the majority of which were downloads. So that's resources being downloaded by teachers for using. We're also now a trusted publisher for the Hub, and we're gradually adding access to all our student-facing resources to the Hub. You can see here we've started off with our exam question revision videos, and we are gradually adding more. We've launched our new website at the end of the summer, and we're aiming to make this the first stop for maths teachers in Wales. On there you can find events, resources, professional learning, student futures and Welsh mathematics, and you can also find a place on there to register with us, which gives you access to all the resources. And when you go to the website, this is what you'll see with those tabs at the top. And the important thing that we've added now is that we have these posts for things that are happening. So there's the professional learning update for this year, and there's a press release, but there are dozens of these posts to do with all sorts of stuff we do. And here are some examples from our teachers page of professional learning opportunities and so on. We also now have an area of the website which is for teachers only. When you register, you'll receive a password which will get you through here, and then into here, which has teaching resources, professional learning resources and so on, and we are adding to that as we go. We also are putting stuff out more on Twitter now, so if you are a Twitterer, then you might want to follow us, and then you'll get notice of professional learning opportunities, resources being released, etc. We put a fully resourced scheme of work out some time ago. This covers Mathematics A-Level and further Mathematics A-Level. We have been adding to that. The philosophy behind our scheme of work can be summarised thus. We believe in teaching mathematics, not just teaching to the exam, supporting teachers and students in overcoming practical difficulties. It's built with connection in mind, a focus on mastery, putting proof at the heart of the syllabus, utilising appropriate technology and serving teachers. You can register via our website as mentioned earlier, and that will give you access to these folders, and there's a list of folders there that show you what is in our scheme of work. Also, if you register with us, you'll get access to integral resources. You only get free access to the further maths modules with further maths support program registration. We have translated it all into Welsh. You can see some of the other modules, the further maths modules mainly there actually, and some of the straight maths ones, and you have to buy licenses for full access. Flipped Classroom videos and PowerPoints, we released the full set, and here is a clip from one of the videos, speeded up to save you time and for a bit of fun.
Flipped Classroom video for Maths AS Unit 1, Factorising Quadratics. So what is a quadratic? Well, you've met them before, but they are in fact a special case of a type of mathematical object called a polynomial. And polynomials are expressions made up of the sum of multiples of non-negative whole number powers of a variable. And so, for example, we have here x to the power of 5, minus 2x to the power of 4, minus 3x cubed, plus 2x squared, plus x plus 4. And so you've got powers of x to the 5, x to the 4, x to the 3, x to the 2. X is, of course, x to the 1. And the constant even can be considered as 4 times x to the power of 0, because anything to the power of 0 is 1. And there are various multiples of them, minus 2 times x to the 4, minus 3 times x cubed, and so on. And so a quadratic is simply a polynomial of order 2. Anyway, one or two more examples. Well, we'll have a look at the picture of that one actually first. So that is a quintic, quin for 5, and it looks like that. Another example, we have x cubed minus x plus 4, which you may recognise as a cubic, and they can look like that. That's a cubic. And then we have our old favourite 3x squared minus 5x minus 2, which is of course a quadratic and looks something like that. And notice how many peaks and troughs each of these has. If we look at the quintic, we've got 2 peaks and 2 troughs, so 4 peaks and troughs altogether. The cubic has 2 of them, 1 peak, 1 trough, and this quadratic has 1 trough. So, how would you describe a quadratic graph to someone who hasn't seen one? Have a think about that.
This shows the PowerPoints which you also can gain access to if you register with us, and the idea of that is that you may want to use them to make your own flipped videos or to use them for classroom resources even. The flipped classroom videos and PowerPoints have just been released, the final ones, which has been a fairly long process but speeded up over COVID. And there's a quote there from Near Jones from Usgolbro Tafi, and if you want to pause it to have a read of that, you may, of course. There's another clip here. This is from the Maths A2, and again is speeded up for a bit of fun.
Fideo dosbarth chwytho ar gyfer mathemateg a 2 uned 3. Ffurf harmonig. Ni mi gyfuno ffwythiant sain a cos yn awr. Yn sawl sefyllfa rydym angen cyfuno ffwythiant sain a ffwythiant cos gyda'i gilydd. Os ydrychwn yn gyntaf ar yn haflu sin x plus cos x, gwelwn y canlyniad yma. Felly, y gwyrdd yw'r sin x, y coch yw'r cos x, a wedyn ado'r ddau, chi'n gweld mae siap hwnna hefyd. Yr un peth a naill siap sin neu cos. Wedi ado bob pwynt, felly ado 2 waith ar yna, 1 waith ar yna, ac yn y blaen. Edrychwn nawr ar gip fideo sy'n dangos graff yn hawlu a sin x plus cos x gyda a yn amrywio o minus 5 i plus 5. Felly dim ond cyfernod o flaen y sin sydd gyda ni. Felly dyma ni, a ni'n newid cyfernod a, a chi'n gweld mae'r osgled, y faint mae'n mynd i fyny, y faint mae'n mynd lawr, yn newid, ond hefyd Mae'r siap yn mynd peth y dde neu peth y chwith. Mae'n mynd trwy'r pwynt yma. Mae'r siap yn mynd, dyna bach i'r wyth neu y dde. Y cyfnod, maen nhw'n galw hwnna, felly mae'r cyfnod a'r osgled yn newid. Mae newid gwerth gyfernod sain x yn dal yn gadael ni gyda cromlin sain, bod yr osgled, sef amplitude yn y Saesneg, pwy mae'r beth mae'n mynd mas a mewn, yn newid a'r cyfnod yn symud. Mae'n mynd symud bach nôl neu ymlaen.
And here is the PowerPoints from that video. So again, you can see there's lots of stuff there to play with. We also have made a course for additional maths in DESMOS, which is available to teachers, and you just get in touch with us if you want to get hold of that, or go to the website, and you can see there it's fully translated, of course, and there are some of the trigonometry ones. This shows a resource from the Additional Maths DESMOS where you match the functions to the graphs, and I should mention that we have been running professional learning for DESMOS and no doubt will continue to do so. Also, you can see on this slide that the lessons are set up with various activities. If you want to look at them in detail, you could pause and have a look at the way that it goes through the lesson. But we'll just look at a little clip of one, and this is where the point P is being dragged across and the students can see what's happening to the tangent line and therefore what's the progression of the gradient for this curve. Bridging and reinforcement. Over COVID we made a few projects to do with this, and there are AS mathematics reinforcement videos which can also be used as a year 11 to year 12 bridging course, and there are AS further maths reinforcement videos which can be used similarly for students who are interested in further maths. There's also bridging from further maths AS to A2, so this is a useful possibility in the summer term, perhaps for year 12 further mathematicians going into year 13, or it can be used for full year further maths students. For A-level revision, we produced a set of exam question revision videos for Maths A-level, and as well as showing a model answer, the aim of the videos is to use questions to develop learners' understanding by giving alternative solutions, digging deeper into the topic, connecting to prior learning, using GeoGebra and so on, and there's also a column showing which topics are covered and which additional aspects are looked at in each video, as you can see here. So for the question on modulus equations, there are both cases are considered critical points and the squaring solutions, and there are GeoGebras showing both solutions and so on, and there are 3 papers for AS and 1 for A2. Also within A-level revision there are further mathematics A-level revision videos, and these are sets of videos for each paper which cover the basics of the theory, then use exam questions to revise applying that theory, and they cover the whole of the courses. We do a lot of enrichment. We have careers talks which you may well already have had people from FMSBW delivering in schools, and there are now videos on YouTube if that's difficult to arrange. There's Key Stage 4 problem solving. For this the resources are available to teachers, but it's also we offer to come in and do sessions on it for year 9, 10, 11. For Key Stage 5 problem solving we have the old SUMP course which is now called problem solving, and that also leads into preparing for STEP, AEA and MAT examinations, and these are offered online to students at the moment. There's also bridging programs, and that's a number of different programs. Key Stage 5 to university, we had one called Mathematical Worlds for expanding students' view of mathematics, and these are offered periodically online to students. We do a lot of professional learning. During the autumn term we're doing Further Maths AS Unit 1 Pure, Introduction to Teaching A-Level Maths AS, DESMOS and GeoGebra. In the spring and summer we'll be doing Further Maths A2 Unit 4 Pure and Unit 2 from the AS, which is Statistics. Also Maths A2 Units 3 and 4, GCSE for non-specialist teachers, GeoGebra, connections in maths, and so on. All the PL sessions will be recorded and made available with tutor support for colleagues who are unable to attend, and you can also order bespoke PL, which means you can get it specific to your requirements, face-to-face or online, and there are details of how to organise that on the website. In the next academic year we have plans to do Further Maths AS Unit 3, Further Maths A2 Units 5 and 6, Additional Maths, Teaching Problem Solving Approaches in Key Stage 3 and 4, and so on. And it's worth hearing from real teachers. Emma Pugh from Porthcawl Comprehensive School had bespoke training. We have had bespoke training on topics that we have requested, and we have been able to train up all our staff. Stuart Ball from Carillon Comprehensive School said, I have a much deeper knowledge of the course and feel confident to tackle many topics from several different approaches. You'll see I've mentioned earlier about the posts on the website, and here's a selection of them: Intermediate GeoGebra in Welsh, Proof Workshop, DESMOS course, Further Maths Unit 1, and next to that is what happens if you click on one of those posts. It gives you the details and how to book and so on. We do a fair bit of pure and action research. Previous research, which some of you may have been involved in, was the flipped classroom approach and connected curricula and a 3D curriculum, and you can see on the right there we've published a number of papers on this and presented at a number of conferences. We've also done research on COVID impacts, pedagogy and factors to do with choosing further maths, and again there's a list of the papers, and all those details are on our website, of course. Our current research is into implementing a connected curriculum in mathematics and further mathematics A level, and so it's looking at the order of teaching so as to put topics that aren't directly connected but are mathematically connected together. And there are places available on that research, and I'd be delighted if any of you were to contact me regarding that. Do register via our website in case I haven't mentioned that, and do contact us with any requests, thoughts, ideas. We're always glad to hear from you, and thank you very much for listening.